Hello everyone, this is Ambarish and you are watching EduSharp. COVID-19 was a big challenge last year and it has affected almost all the countries of the world adversely. Total number of deaths because of COVID-19 is more than 2 million and total number of people who got affected because of COVID is more than 98 million. Do you trust me for the data that I have just presented to you? You would say no. Now what if I say that the data has been taken from the website of World Health Organization? You can see the image from where I have taken the data. Now you can trust me. You can trust me because I have shown you the source of information. This is what exactly we are going to discuss in our video today. We are going to discuss what is referencing. Referencing is a very important activity in academic writing and therefore we should know what is referencing, why it is important and what are the different benefits that we get out of referencing. Today in this video we shall discuss all these things. Let's understand. We shall first start with the definition. Referencing is that important part of academic writing where we provide the details of the source of information. While writing an academic article, we take information from different sources. These sources could be books, journal articles, magazines, newspapers, websites of some internationally renowned institutions. While writing an academic article, we have to ensure that we are providing the correct details of these sources of information. Providing this detail of these sources of information is called referencing. This activity of referencing is done in two parts. And remember, without completion of these two parts, referencing activity cannot be considered as completed. The first part is in-text citations and the second part is preparing the list of references, or we can say bibliography. Now there is a minor change between list of references and bibliography which we shall discuss later on, but for now you can consider that preparing list of references or bibliography is one part of completing the referencing activity. Now what is the first part? In-text citations. Meaning of in-text citations is clear from the word itself. When we present the detail of the source of information within the text, then it is called as in-text citations. I am going to show you some examples of in-text citations. Here are some examples. So guys, I have taken these three documents in order to show you how in-text citations are done. This one is the first document. This one is the second document and here is the third document. All these documents are journal articles. So with the help of these documents I am going to show you how in-text citations are done. So let's go ahead and check the first documents. It's on projecting the potential impact of COVID-19 school closures on academic achievement. So first of all, let me tell you that all these documents are academic articles because these are research articles published in some journals. So these articles can be considered as academic articles, and whenever we are writing an academic paper, obviously we will have to do referencing. So all these articles have references, and with the help of these articles we are going to understand how in-text citations are done. So let's go ahead and check this document. Okay, so here you can check this particular statement is taken from an article which is written by Lake and Dassault. So this name of authors, Lake and Dassault 2020A, it is written in small brackets and this is called as in-text citation. This means this particular statement, the majority of school districts provided some remote instructions during the last months of school year. This statement or this idea is taken from the article which is written by Lake and Dassault. Similarly, you can see some other in-text citations. For example, here you can see Harris 2020. This is also another in-text citation. So this is how we present in-text citation. You will find such types of in-text citations in all the paragraphs of this particular document. Let me show you some other in-text citations. Here you can see Quinn and Polikoff. See, this is also an in-text citation. This means the idea of this paragraph is taken from the article written by Quinn and Polikoff, and that article was written in 2017. Similarly, another in-text citation is here. So you can see there are many in-text citations in this document. Okay, let's go ahead and check the second document. So here is the second document. So here you can see, guys, that it is written Financial Times 2020 in small brackets, and this means that this paragraph is written with the help of the article which was published in Financial Times in 2020. So this is how in-text citations is done. Here you can see a superscript of 3. It means there are 2 superscripts which are already used. So let's go in the previous paragraph. Here you can see 1. It is a superscript. So this is also an in-text citation. This is how an in-text citation is done. Now why here in-text citation is done? Because here a data is presented, $1.4 trillion. So this 1 represents in-text citation here. So you will get many superscripts in this document. See, the second superscript is here. This is also an in-text citation. Here in this statement also you can see some data is presented. And whenever we present some data, fact, figure, we have to provide in-text citations. Means we have to present from where we got this data. So this is how in-text citation is done. This was the second document. Let's go ahead and check the third document. So this one is the third document, the impact of COVID-19 on education in Ghana. Now let's go ahead and check how in-text citations are done in this particular document. So this is the abstract. Okay, so now here introduction starts, and again here you will see numbers are written in brackets. This particular number written in brackets is basically in-text citation. Why? Because again you will see that there are some data or facts written in the statement. So if some data is presented, you have to show from where you got this data, and here 1 represents that particular source from where this data is taken. Now what is the meaning of this 1 we will discuss later on in this video, but here you can understand that meaning of this particular 1 is that it is in-text citation. Similarly, you will find second in-text citation as well, and that will be written as 2. See, here you can see 2 in brackets. This is again in-text citation. You will also find 2 here. This is in-text citation. This is in-text citation. Now if everywhere this 2 is written, you can see 3 times it is written. It means the information taken in this paragraph, then again in this paragraph, and then again in this paragraph, all such information, all these paragraphs are written with the help of the article which is presented by this number 2. So this 2 is basically in-text citation. Within the text, the authors of this article have cited. Here you can see 3. Okay, so guys, this is how we represent in-text citation. Now one question that should be coming in your mind is why in-text citations are done in different manner. For example, in the first document, in this one, in-text citations are done in this manner, where author's surname and year is written. Now in this one, in the second document, you saw that in-text citations were done in different manner, in the form of superscript. Now here in the third document, you can see that the in-text citations are done in different manner, in a form of numberings in big brackets. So all these things are done in a different manner because all these 3 documents are following different referencing styles. Now what are these different referencing styles? We shall discuss later on in this video, but as of now you can understand that this is how in-text citations are done. The next part of this referencing activity is preparing the list of references. For all the in-text citations that we have done in our paragraphs within the text, we have to prepare the details of the source of information, the complete details of the source of information. Remember, in in-text citations, we do not provide the complete details. We only provide few information. For example, only author's name or maybe year, or sometimes we also put some superscript, subscripts, so that we can present that this particular part in a paragraph is taken from some particular source. So in-text citation is not the complete information of the source. Therefore, it becomes essential that we provide the complete detail of the in-text citation in the list of references. and this is called bibliography or referencing list. Here are some examples of list of references, or we can say bibliography. So guys, again I have taken the same documents, and now with the help of the same 3 documents I am going to show you how list of references are prepared. Already I have told you that referencing is not completed till the time you do not complete both the activities. First activity is providing in-text citations, and the second activity is providing list of references or bibliography. So list of references or bibliography is normally presented at the end of the documents. So let's go ahead and see how list of references is presented at the end of the documents. So in the first documents, let's go ahead. At the end of the document, we'll see how list of references is presented. See guys, here you can see references. Okay, so all these entries are basically the entries of list of references. Okay, here you can see that some information is presented, and this information is basically author's name, year, title of the article, and some DOI is given. What are these things? We shall discuss later on in a separate video, but as of now you can understand that this is the entry of reference in the list of references. So this is one particular reference where we provide the complete information about the article from where we have taken the information. Similarly, this is the second article, this is the third article, and there are many articles which are used. So you can see there are many references given at the end of the article. Let's go ahead and see the second document. Okay, so this one was the second document. Let's go at the end of the document and see how list of references is given. So guys, here I am again at the end of the document, and you can see references, and these are the entries of references in the list of references. So you can see there are many references given, and again there is a particular pattern of providing these references. These are author's name and year, and then title of the article, and some numbers are also presented. What is the meaning of these numbers we shall discuss later on, but as of now you can understand that all these entries are the entries of list of references. In this document also, at the end of the document you will see that there are list of references provided. See, here we are, and at the end of the document you can see references are given. Again you can see some details are given: author's name, year, name of the journal article, and all this kind of information is presented. So this is what we call as list of references. You can see World Health Organization. This is the same reference which I also gave you at the beginning of my video as my source of information. So you can see World Health Organization is cited in this article as well. So this is how we present list of references. Now again, one thing that I would like to clarify here, that in all these documents you will see that the list of references are presented in a different manner. In the first document, list of references is given by dividing the page in 2 columns. And one important thing that you can see here is that the reference is given in hanging indent. Hanging indent means the second line, third line, and fourth line of a particular reference starts after a gap from the first line. See, there is a gap. So this is called hanging indent. Next important point is that it is in alphabetic manner. Okay, let's go ahead and see the second document. Here you will see that hanging indent is not done. Okay, the second line starts from the beginning itself. Okay, but it is also in alphabetical manner. Okay, and in the third document you will see that some numbering is given. Here alphabetical manner is not there. It doesn't matter whether it's in alphabetical manner or not, but numbering is there. So why it is different? Because all these documents are following different referencing style. Now what are these different referencing styles? We will discuss later on, but as of now you can understand that this is how list of references is prepared. So guys, I hope you have seen the examples of in-text citations and list of references or bibliography, and you have understood what exactly is referencing. Now the question that comes in your mind is when and where we should provide the references. Please understand, whenever we are using someone else's work in our article in order to prove our argument or in order to make our argument stronger, we have to provide references. Now what kind of information we can take from someone else's work? It can be some data, facts, figures, images, tables, charts, or one important thing is directly quoting somebody. Directly quoting somebody means using the exact words which are said by some authors. Example of direct quotation can be definition of, let's say, if you are writing the definition of marketing and you are directly writing what Philip Kotler has written about marketing, it can be considered as direct quotation. So guys, I hope till now you have understood what exactly is referencing. In the next part of the video, we shall understand why it is important to do referencing. When you start writing an academic article, you will see that there is a list of references provided. You have already seen the examples I have given to you. And when you see it for the first time, or when you start doing it for the first time, you find it very tedious and very hectic. But trust me, it is not very hectic. Once you have understood it, you will find that this is a very easy thing and it has many benefits, and it is also necessary to do it. So let's understand why referencing is important, why we have to do referencing. So guys, there are various reasons because of which we have to do referencing. The first and most important point, or we can say that the reason for which we have to do referencing, is we need to avoid plagiarism. Now, plagiarism is a very important term in academic writing. Whenever we are using someone else's work in our article, we have to give credit to that particular author. If we do not do this, our work will be considered as plagiarized work, and in academic writing, plagiarism is not allowed. Therefore, you have to provide credits to the author from whom you have taken the information or idea. Even if you have paraphrased the information from that particular author, still you have to do referencing so that you avoid issue of plagiarism. Another reason for doing references is that it works as a fact-checking tool. While writing an academic article, we provide different types of data, facts, figures, charts. Let's suppose if the reader wants to check whether the data provided by you is accurate or not, he would require the details of the source so that he can go to the source and check the data. And always remember that providing accurate and correct data builds the confidence of the reader in your article. The next reason for why referencing is needed is it makes you a better researcher. While writing an academic article, you have to do a lot of research. And in order to do this research, you use different keywords. And while using these keywords, you get a lot of information from different sources. Now, you cannot trust all the sources of information. You have to look for authentic sources of information only. And while doing all this activity, you look for better articles, better information, better sources. And in all this process and activity, you become a better researcher. The next reason for providing references is that it makes you a better writer. While writing an academic article, you take a stand on the topic. Whether you talk in favor of the topic or against it, you have to provide proper arguments. And in order to make your arguments stronger, you look for some evidences. And these evidences are provided with the help of referencing only. If you do not provide the references for your arguments, you will write a generalized content. And generalized content is not considered critical in academic writing, and it leads to poor grades. Therefore, in order to support your arguments, you have to look for references and you have to provide critical content. This will help you in getting the good grades. And hence, it can be considered that referencing makes you a better writer. The next reason of why referencing is done is that it enhances the credibility of the article. While writing an academic article, we provide different types of data, fact, figures. Now, why would somebody trust the data that we have presented? If we are taking the data from authentic sources of information, then it becomes easier to convince the reader that whatever arguments we are giving is appropriate. And hence it enhances the credibility of our article. The next reason for why referencing is that it gives access of additional readings to the readers. While reading an academic article, a reader wishes to go deeper into the cited articles because he wants to get some additional information about that particular topic, or maybe he wants to get some additional information about the article which you have cited. If you do not provide the referencing of that particular article, the reader will not be able to reach to that particular article, and hence if you want your reader to get additional information of those articles which you have cited, you have to provide references. The last point of why referencing is very important. Referencing gives you a better marks. An academic article submitted to a university will not give you a good grades if you have not done a good research, or if you have not provided the list of references. An academic article without references or with minimum references only leads to poor grades. So guys, these were the 7 reasons for which referencing is done. Now you must be thinking that if referencing is this much important and if it gives us this much benefits, then there should be some methods or guidelines for doing referencing. There are various referencing styles, or we can say guidelines, available which are developed by some prominent institutions. These guidelines are accepted by many universities across the world. Some of the important guidelines of referencing include APA referencing style, Harvard referencing style, MLA, Chicago, Vancouver, Oxford, AGLC referencing styles. All the names that I have just taken are different referencing guidelines which you use while writing your academic articles. Always remember that your lecturer or your professor will mention the name of the referencing style that you need to use while writing an academic article. Also, you should know that these referencing styles are made for different types of papers. For example, APA referencing style is mainly used for scientific papers, but it is not limited to scientific papers only. Similarly, AGLC is made for law related paper. Its full form is Australian Guide to Legal Citations, which means while writing an article which is on a law topic, we use AGLC referencing style. However, it is not necessary that in a law article you will use only AGLC. Sometimes lecturers also ask for APA referencing style on a topic which is of the subject law. Now these guidelines, whether it's APA, Harvard, MLA, Chicago, Vancouver, Oxford, AGLC, all these guidelines are prepared, and while using these guidelines you have to make sure that you know the guidelines, and all the guidelines include details of how you can do referencing for different types of sources of information. For example, if you are citing a book, you have some guidelines in APA. If you are citing a journal article, you have some guidelines for that in APA. Similarly, these guidelines are available for other sources of information as well. So you should know all these guidelines. Now it is not possible to discuss all these guidelines in this video because it will become a very large video. So we shall discuss these guidelines in different separate video for each guidelines. This video was only about what is referencing, why referencing is needed, and what are the different referencing styles available. I hope I have been able to explain this particular topic in detail. In case you have any query, any suggestion, please write in the comment section. Also, you can suggest me some topic on which you want me to create a video. We shall meet again in the next video on a different topic. Till then, keep smiling, keep reading, keep writing. Thank you so much for watching.